All right. It's time for the Pigsty Festival 2.0 Grand Finals. It's a best-of-7 match between Shopify Rebellion's Byun, Unstoppable Micro Jackson, as he's known, up against Dark. Representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark, an impetuous gamer that came to the forefront of the scene in late 2015, basically talking smack about everybody, saying, I'm better than all of them. People did not like it. People said, what the hell? How dare he? Koreans are meant to be well-mannered and nice and all this sort of stuff. And Dark just laughed and was like, I'll do whatever I want, dude. Now, Dark is doing what I would refer to as a drunk build order right now. No. Okay, he does go spawning. It's gas pool. He is going to... Oh, Byun doesn't scout. Okay. Byun doesn't scout, so Dark might just go for a Ravager Ling all-in. Reina did this build order up against time on Inside Out. But yeah, basically, Dark talked a lot of smack. He talked a lot of just... And it wasn't even that bad. It was just people were so used to these very demure Koreans being like, oh, I just want to show good games for my fans. I hope to perform well. Maru's famous line, I just hope my hands don't betray me. And we're like, seriously, Maru? Really? That's the most insight we've ever gotten to Maru's personality. Dark would be like, these guys suck. I'm gonna kill them all. They all suck. I'm better than them. Byun, likewise, maybe not so much smack talk, but a lot of emotion in his interviews. And he's actually SCV scouting. And going reactor first, which means he's going to have a lot of marine production. So we've got the emotional Byun that a lot of players fear for because he does wear his heart on his sleeve. And Dark, of course, who kind of smiles while he rips your arms out of their sockets and then hits you in the face with them until you're unconscious. Scouting for the third hatchery is Byun. He sees no third hatchery. He sees a pool first. He doesn't know about the early gas and the fact that the gas is still mining, though. Roachron does not go down, but he is still mining gas. I mean, it could be a 2-base muter on Nidus Worm as well, or he could just pull off gas now that he knows the SCV is not scouting and say, oh yeah, mind a bit of extra gas, but you know what? The natural wasn't finished before now, so it's only now where those drones could have really been used elsewhere. Bunker is on the way, Byun playing very safe, and I think Byun is pretty much forced to play his Cyclone opening here because he doesn't know what could come out behind this. If you get a Cyclone, it defends you from a lot of Ravager shenanigans. And if he gets a medevac with a Cyclone in it, he can go around the map hunting the Overlords. It's one of his favorite pressures in the last few weeks of StarCraft, so wouldn't be surprised if he does it. He's actually going to go very quick Banshee. Okay, even better. Very safe. The Banshee's going to shut down any Ravager Ling. Mass Ling on the way for Dark. The Mad Lad is going to go for a Ling Flood. Does he know about the bunker? Oh, he doesn't know about the bunker. Oh, and I think the Marines venturing so far forward on the map is almost baiting Dark into this. These guys have an exact 50% win rate in their head-to-head series. They're both 21 series each head-to-head, everybody. Ooh, okay. 4 Marines in a bunker. Going to be a nice beginnings to this defense. Dark doesn't show all of the Lings. He just runs in with 3 of them. The other Lings are like, please pop out of the bunker and let us surround you. Byun not taking any chances. He builds a depot to get the semi-wall there. And, ooh, nice Ling snipe. 2 Lings for an SCV, a very good trade. Third hatchery goes down behind it. Dark did say leading into this grand finals, remember that Byun was talking smack in his interview. He said, I hope Dark wins because Reina is way better than him, and I know I'll beat Dark. I always, I know I'll beat him. I always get the better of him, basically. Dark said, you know what? I'm a bit tired today. I didn't sleep well last night, but I am ready to smack. And oh man, that is not working out for Dark. He dives in with the Lings, but he doesn't get anything. That is a really bad start. He did say, okay, because I'm not feeling my best, I'm going to look to play scissors, paper, rock. I want to do build orders that force weird situations. I want to make it kind of a bit of a gambling game rather than just a raw mechanical skill match. So Dark has got that in his mind's eye, but game 1 not going well for him at all. On the other hand, this is Byun's map pick. Byun came in as the highest seed, so he picked Moondance as this map. Losing your opponent's favorite map to start is not the worst way to go. This is a map where throwing out big gambles is definitely acceptable. Evo chamber on the way. Looks like he's... Ooh, armory. Wait, really? He's going to do a Hellbat Marine. Oh, he's going to do the Hellbat push because he's got 10 Marines and a Cyclone. And Banshees, you add a bunch of Hellbats in front of that for a meat shield, it's a deadly timing. This is very similar to a build which 4GG likes to pull out of the ladder whenever the opponent opens up pool first. It's a surprising timing. You throw a bunch of Hellbats in front of all those Marines, it can do quite well. There's no Baneling Nest, which is the big problem for Dark. You need a lot of Queens or a Baneling Nest or a Roachhorn to deal with it. Just Queens on their own kind of get wrecked by Cyclones, though. So the Cyclone can do big damage. 2 Marines do stay at home for now. There's a Banshee here. It's going to be 6 Hellbats, a Banshee, a Cyclone, and those 8 Marines. Dark needs to pull back. He's building a lot of Zerglings right now. He's got good creep spread, but he doesn't fully know what's coming across the map. He doesn't realize that there's a Hellbat morph with this until now. He sees it. Every single Queen needs to get down here, and he needs to create a big arc of Queens so the Hellbat splash damage doesn't deal too much. Already, though, 1 Queen gets locked on by the Cyclone, takes a lot of damage. These Lings do not want to clump up on the Hellbats. Notice how Byun's keeping a tight formation, because a tight formation of Hellbats can absolutely roast Zerglings. They do a cone of area effect damage that will smash clumped up Zerglings, but he doesn't want to engage into that giant mass of Queens. Dark is very quick to bring every Queen to the front. Ling's going to counterattack the wall. Marines will unload. SCVs are going to need to, of course, repair that as well. Byun! He's not repairing the wall. He scans there, and then he does kind of, looks like pulls his army home, but whew, left that one pretty late. 4th base is on the way. Dark is up to 60 workers, so he's got a 10 worker lead. He survived the scary point in the game. He did miss some injects during it, though. Notice that whenever you scare Dark like that, he pulls every Queen to the front. He keeps them all on one control group, which means he loses some injects. So he needs to keep building extra hatcheries. Macro hatch on the way. Baneling Nest going down now as well. And a second Evo chamber is going to come up behind the natural. Heading from 2 gases up to 5 gases, which will give him the ability to tack on forwards. And I feel like Dark's just going to play Hydraling Bane from here, most likely, trying to get up into that lurk attack. Hellbat's coming forward. 2 drones have already gone down to the Banshee in the main base. Spore Crawler moves there, though. Does defend it. Mostly mining time being lost. Cyclone goes down. Hellbat's roasting those Zerglings, though. Oh, absolute barbecue. Lots of drones losing mining time in the main. The Banshee just sitting barely out of range. And this squad of units still maintaining pressure. What I love about this build by Byun is that he doesn't just shove them in creep. It's not a one hit, I'm going to just charge in. For a low-level player, that's a great way to play, but for him, he's got the mechanics to draw this out. So he just tries to hang out and cause disruptions. He's got Stim in there as well. Stim Marines and Hellbats combined, roasting a lot of Lings, but the medevac does go down. 7 more drones have fallen in total to the Banshee. But it looks like the Zerglings finally getting the cleanup. Dark, is he going to think about making Banelings? Looks like he's going to not go aggressive, and that makes perfect sense. I thought he was thinking about doing a Baneling bust, which would have been a disaster, because Byun's already got that 3rd fully saturated. 2nd factory on the way, and his 1-1 upgrades are coming in. He's already got the armory from earlier in the game, remember, so he's going to be able to go into a quick 2-2 and maintain that upgrade advantage. Dark, though, starting Carapace +2 on time, so even though his melee upgrades are far behind, his Carapace is good. He's going into Hydras as well. Dark somehow made his way back up to 75 drones, but he's definitely not got the army momentum that he wants. No Overseer here just yet, which means he cannot actually kill these Widow Mines, and oh no! Just gets his whole front line cleaved through. The Queen's a little bit too slow. That's an amazing fight for Byun, who's now up 1,300 resources in the units lost. This was always going to be one of the tougher maps to face Byun on. But Dark, after taking that Ling gamble there, trying to surround and just overwhelm, he is in big troubles. Couple Hydras coming in. No 4th command center for Byun just yet, which is curious. His 2-2 is on the way, as well as vehicle plating for those medevacs and mines. Oh, Byun goes for the focus fire on the Banes, but lets 2 of the slow Banelings slip through. And good fight for Dark. Focuses down some of the Widow Mines as well. Dark is actually somehow back ahead in supply. He doesn't have a 5th base up yet, but he's thinking about taking it. Speedbane's starting to come in. Byun focuses down 4 Speedbanes just like that. The Lings spreading across the Marines, trying to use the Widow Mines as, of course, friendly fire Baneling substitutes. But not as reliable. He needs more Banelings. He does not have the numbers. Dark's trying to hang on here. The Marines are getting pretty overstimmed, but dude, the focus fire on the Banelings has been deadly. The Queens are trying to pull back. There are still 8 Queens out with lots of transfuse, but just not enough Banelings. Byun once again focuses 2 more Banes down. They do take out the Widow Mines as collateral damage when those Banelings detonate. The Marines getting very low right now. The Queen Hydra Zergling doing what they can. A lot of Marines fall there, but not before they've killed an immense amount of Zerg. Look at that units lost tab. 2,300 resources in favor of Byun. And he's got that 4th command center finished. He'll float that down soon. Dark, though, he's holding on. And Dark is a really slippery player. He's very hard to put in the ground. He's known for punching his way out of situations where most Zergs would be dead. You cannot count Dark out until he's 6 feet under. Hydraling Bane gathering up. The lack of Banelings belies the supply count. Byun only has a small supply lead, but the lack of Banelings means it's actually way worse for him. Nice hot pickup, saves most of those Marines there. The Hydra count's getting a little better. Groove Spines is done. He's getting Muscular Augments for them as well, but remember, they do not actually have any ranged attack upgrades. And no +2 melee started up just yet either. Dark does have that 5th hatchery on the way. Overlord speed coming in. He's trying to inject these hatcheries. The Spore Crawler and the Queens should be able to take these Widow Mines out pretty quickly. That one's not going to be able to fire. He will push the front, but a Widow Mine is going to waddle into the back and get at least a bit of damage. Mass Zergling style for Dark. He's just basically playing a I will jump on top of you style. And he's getting some pretty decent engagements. It's surprising beyond the sheer ferocity with which these units are coming forward. And look at that. Built a Spore Crawler there, I think, to save his drone from that first Widow Mine. The Hydraling still trying to hold on. It's a very close fight here, but Byun has a 4th and 5th command center up behind it. The 5th halfway done, 3-3 on the way against a Zerg that is permanently locked on Lair Tech. And if Dark can't get some run-bys in there, some Banelings or something like that, then he's in huge trouble. But he's so close to dying with every single push that he can't really afford to split some Lings and Banes off. I mean, if he can win a fight on the front, then he can get back in this game. But if he can't crush a fight and really push Byun back to his side of the map, he's pinned defensively, and that's exactly where Byun wants him. Widow Mine count looking very nice. Ooh, big Widow Mine in on the Zerglings. Oh, no. The field of lost Zergling dreams. There is so much blood left on that battlefield. Absolutely deadly. A lot of Widow Mines went down, but it feels like Dark here. What's he on? 19 Hydras! A lot of people have been playing Mass Hydra recently. It's very dangerous. The drones do pull away from the double drop on the left. The Queens and the Spore and the Hydra, though, making it a one-way trip, so a pretty good hold by Dark on that one. All of those Marines go down. That medevac could also take a lot of damage. He's way too heavy on Hydras. Mass Hydra is very bad versus Marine Marauder. It's good versus Widow Mines. It's trash versus everything else. Dark is going way too high on it. Him and Raynor have both been making this mistake lately. Apparently, birds of a feather, Mass Hydra together. It's an old adage. I don't know what I'm saying. Point being, Mass Hydra will not stand its ground if they run out of Banelings. The moment they're out of Banelings, they're in trouble. Okay, this is a small army from Dark. I mean, from Byun. This is okay so far. But if he goes off creep, dude, he's screwed. So he's got to really, really focus on keeping this up. He's still making more Hydras. This makes no sense. 28 Hydras. They're just going to get stuck behind each. I don't know what Dark's thinking. I honestly, I cannot give a support for this, guys. He's going to have +1 attack, +2 armor Hydras fighting 3-3 Marines and Marauders. Basically, 1 or 2 good Widow Mines go off on his Banelings. The Bio can stim forwards in a ball and annihilate him. Marauder's not that good, and I guess the Marine count is better versus the Hydras. The Overseer's trying to drag the Widow Mines onto the friendly fire. Nice attempted kamikazes from Dark, but he doesn't quite get it off. He's got a good Hydra concave, so that is something. But that Overseer goes down as well. And Dark, he's struggling to hold on. He does not have a hive. He doesn't have anything that can give him that long-term efficiency. He wants to push down there, but you see what happens once the Banelings are gone. Hydras are very expensive, very fragile units. They cost so much more than the Marine Marauder. Dark hanging on by a thread, but he is keeping himself alive. Byun, though, transitioning smoothly, flawlessly. He's on 8 barracks. He's now got 4 tech labs, 4 reactors, so he can both mass Marine and add 4 Marauders or Ghosts at a time. His 5th base is established as a planetary. One big weak point of Byun is he does not have the Iron Bank. He hasn't invested in any extra orbital commands, so if Lurkers were to come out, he could die to being short on scans. That, of course, we can see is not an option. Dark does not even have a hive on the way. The Mass Hydra Queen Concave is using the positioning very well, and that I am impressed with. But I gotta say, the units lost tab is still 3,500 resources in the favor of Byun. And with the worker count being as close as it is, that does not bode well for the Zerg player, who's still making even more Hydras. He is going for a mass Hydralisk army. The Bio starting to break through. The moment you don't have enough units there, we get to see just how fragile that mass Hydra force is. A big gamble for Dark. Maybe if Byun split up and went for a few too many drops and he caught some of them it would have paid off, but as it was, Byun had an excellent opening. Reactor first, shut down the pool first aggression, and Byun carried the advantage from there. 1-0 Byun. All right, that was a rough first game for Dark. His opening, it went very poorly, though. I think he did a great job of hanging on despite it. And the Hydras was a bit of a desperation call. Ooh, but his opponent is Proxy Barracks him, Shopify Rebellion. Byun looking for the momentum early in this series, and the Overlord looks like it will miss it. It's a pretty far back Oh, he's doing a 3-racks. Byun's going super all in, and this is Dark's map pick. Oh, Dark is actually scouting with a drone, but I doubt he checks all the way up there. It's a lot of, I mean, that's very far back, so that's very secretive. And as a result, it might get in there without him seeing it until very late, especially if this Overlord is going across the map, which I think it is. Oh, he's clicking both Overlords across the map, which means he won't have an Overlord at home. Dark seems to sense that something's up. He's got great instincts. He knows, he's like, Byun's 100% going to proxy racks me, man. It's my map pick. It's not that good for Byun. Of course he's going to do it. But his spawning pool's not that early, man. This is a hatch gas pool plus a drone scout, which means the pool's even later. There's proxy 3 barracks. Oh, he changes Overlord path. Dark is like, dude, I'm pretty sure there's a good chance of this being, you know, there being a proxy barracks out here. It is mass marine, just pure marines and SCV. The Overlord sees it. Byun sees the Overlord, so he knows he's being spotted. He did glimpse that Overlord for a moment. He should be aware of what's happening. Now, this is a very rough position because you see 3 barracks. You know that this is massive commitment from your opponent. And he's already going to go for a bunker very close, is he? Oh, he builds it up there. Okay, not a bad position. Spinecrawler building in the main and a second gas. Dark has already realized he's not going to defend it on the low ground. He's just saying, I'll give up the hatchery and go roaches up here in the main. Drones are going to look for the surround, but already a marine and an SCV, and they're looking for damage on these drones. Very, very aggro play from Byun. SCV gets in there, sees the second gas, and he confirms exactly what he's up against. Now, these Lings, they look for the SCV. They're not quite able to get it. These 2 Lings are going to try and sneak out if they can. But good hunting by Byun. He's not going to let those Zerglings escape. Marines. Ooh, the Zerglings come down. They get one of the SCVs, but definitely feels like Dark needs to drone up that main base rather than building any more Zerglings. Byun cleans up those Lings. Spinecrawler moves to the edge of the ramp. The Queen is there as well. Inject goes down. Second Queen and the Roach Warrant coming up. Needs to build Overlords as well. He's already got one on the way. Behind this. Depot, wall off, and double gas goes down. So Byun realizing, okay, I'm going to put you on 1 base, but my command center is going to be so late. He's paused marine production, but I think he'll resume the moment he's on supply block. There we go. So he's going to go for very heavy marine count and tech. Once Ravagers come out, they can out-micro your marines, but notice Ling speed's on the way as well, which tells us that Dark might want to do a big counterattack of Ravager Ling. He's not going to have much production to do so. 3 roaches will pop out. Ooh, we can morph Ravager cocoons. So that's what goes well for Dark here. He can heal these roaches up. Going to morph 3 of those into Ravagers and start breaking out. But already a bunker going up at home. Byun's going to try and repair this to buy time. Ravagers can outrun him. The thing is, Lings could also surround him technically. So the longer he hangs out here, the more dangerous this is for Byun. I feel like he should have run all of his Marines home. Maybe just leave 4 Marines and 2 SCVs here. And everything else could probably get home in time. But he's kind of up front threatening. Like, he wants to jump on those Ravagers as they come forward to Bile. But you can see that Dark's taking no risks with it. Behind this, factory is about 3/4 of the way done. No command center started just yet. Byun building lots of depots. He's also floating his 3 barracks home. The 4 Ravagers trying to break out, but Dark desperately stuck on 1 base. And he's only got 12 workers on minerals, which tells us that he's planning to just go all in. If Byun can get a Banshee out at home, he's good, but I think Byun's overcommitted. Like I said, he may be buying more time here, but the thing is, he will get out microed by the Ravagers. Oh, he gets one! He gets one of the Ravagers, but the bunker's gonna fall. Ah, the bunker goes down. The Marine's trying to run away, and ooh, good turnaround by Byun. Okay, oh my god, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide for these Ravagers. Oh no, he loses 1, 2, 3, 4 Ravagers going down. That is massive, and Byun able to trade in a good enough manner. This is a very awesome start for Byun, and he's looking fantastic. Dark is just gonna have to get everything together and go for 1 big push, but there's already a bunker with 3 barracks in front of it, a Cyclone on the way, which can pick units off from far away. No Banshee, but he's building more Marines. He's got 3 Marines out. Looks like he should be able to get to at least, say, 9 Marines before the wall is breached. Maybe even 12. 12 Marines plus a Cyclone. Another Cyclone coming out. I mean, this is very hard to break. Byun massively ahead on economy. This is desperate. There is a drone moving down to expand behind this. The Ravager needs to start putting those Biles in between the 2 barracks so that he's hitting both of them. Cyclone trying to get the lock on, but of course can't reach. Now, Byun might lift the barracks, run the Cyclone out, and use the barracks to spot the Ravagers so that it maintains vision while the Cyclone locks on and keeps those units down. I think that would be his best play right now. You really don't want to be losing this. There we go. 1 barracks does lift up. Depots are raising right now. The Ravager's doing a really good job. It's all about pulling a rabbit out of a hat right now for Dark. He does Bile down the bunker. Gets it. Loses a Roach, though. It's not free. Pulling back up the ramp. A lot of depots exposed down here. There is a tank on the way. The command center is going to go down. Dark's expanding. If he can kill the command center, then this is transitionable. Oh, man, this is actually working out. No Banshee, no tank. You see that the Cyclone, it's good, but when the threat of the Lynx around, it's not that powerful. And he's going to have to cancel his command center. Dark is back in the game. This is not going to be a 2-0. Dark starts droning up. And this is, oh man, this looked like he was going to have such a terrible start. And now resetting the command center, this is not, I mean, it could still be a 2-0 for Byun, but it looked like it was automatically going to be a 2-0. Now it's not, and he's actually massing Lings. So Dark is thinking about continuing aggressively here, but he's like kind of mixing Lings and drones. He should not use those Lings unless, oh man, he gets another depot that's building and an SCV. He's got to protect this Overlord. That Overlord's still alive on the left somehow, I don't know how. Ooh, the Ravager Link. And, oh, nice scan by Byun. He gets rid of that Overlord. That's huge. The other one's deep in the red. And he's just going to start shuffling his tanks forward now. Oh, the tank's moving very far forward. Okay, yeah, they really want to get as much reach as possible. Cyclone will not be able to get that Overlord. It's out there for safety now. You can see the Cyclone's looking for it. And you will see that Overlord just up to the top. Behind this third hatchery goes down. Dark needs to hold that drone key down a little bit harder. Those extra Zerglings he might be regretting now. Really should just be drone, 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 drone. There is a chance to come back because he's got so much Ravager Ling. And these Ravagers especially can pay such value over the long course of this game. Byun has definitely got to be feeling a little bit of frustration at the fact that he's messed this up the way he has. On the other hand, he has a third command center building. This one floating down to the natural. It's not like he's behind. I mean, he's got Stim, he's got 3 tanks, a bunch of Marines. These units are probably going to scale even better than the Terran, the Zerg ones into the later stages. So, still a decent position for the Terran player, but a far cry from the massive game-ending victory that he would have had. Funnily enough, the biles on the tanks can be massive, but it's all about getting the vision on them. Cyclone is patrolling out front. Third hatchery getting droned up. And what is the play here for Dark? If I was in Dark's shoes, I'd be thinking about Infestors, Burrowed Banelings, something that can ambush the superior Marine count, deal with that, and then your Ravagers can deal with the siege tanks. The reason why we're not just talking about standard things like, oh, just play Mass Roach or just play Ling Bane is he's a little far behind for that. I think he'll need some form of tech in order to deal with the asymmetry in terms of just the amount of income. On the other hand, he's up 10 workers. His third hatch is kind of saturated. He's got a double Evo. He's trying to get double upgrades started now. They're only slightly behind the Terran ones. If he sees this army coming, could ambush it and bile it down. Once 1-1 and shields and medevacs are on the field, that'll be a different story. But right now, Starport's still just not ready to swap over. Mass Ling surrounds the Cyclone and gets it. Very nice pick off. Dark will need a lot more hatcheries, and he'll need them sooner rather than later as he goes up to about 60 workers versus 39. 20 worker lead feels pretty good. The lack of a lair, though, the lack of gases, that feels pretty bad. He's only on 2 gas. He's basically playing a mass Zergling style right now. It's a budget comeback style. It can work. And he's going to add a Baneling Nest. Okay. I actually think this is a prime game where like Mass Infestor Ling would be perfect. Like you're already on the back foot. The game's kind of awkward. Throw out a bit of a gamble. As I say that, I look at the worker count. I look at the way the supply is growing. And I'm like, Dark might be okay. He might be totally fine because this creep is now out. He's got so few queens and yet his creep is spreading because there's no forward pressure for Byun. Byun needs to get a move on with the Marines and the medevacs. He needs to be out there slowing down the creep, setting up for the next stages. You can tell up to this point he's been paranoid because Byun is playing Dark, and Dark is a crazy man. Dark is a crazy man who might just run in with 60 Zerglings and you know, 8 Ravagers at any moment. You don't know. Does take the Watchtower off Dark, but Dark saves the Zergling for now. Armory is on the way, but a little bit late as 2-2 will not be able to start straight away. Whereas the Lair finishes well ahead of time. The double macro hatchery is here for Dark. I would like to see Dark take a nice quick 5th base as well. And he's already going Infestation Pit, so he is thinking about Hive, whether that be Lurkers or Ultras. Baneling speed starts up. Army supply very even for both sides. Still a 13 worker lead being maintained by the Zerg. Double drop heading in towards the main base. 1-1 upgrades have just finished up for both sides though. No real pickoffs here available. Ooh, watch out, Byun. Yeah, the biles. If you're not looking, those biles can take down those medevacs quick. Second factory, fourth command center goes down. Byun just defaulting to playing very standard and safe macro from here. He is adding his extra reactor, so that'll take him to 5 barracks. The drop's still dancing around in the north side of the map. He's got a few Widow Mines mixed in, so he has got a factory on a reactor, and he'll build one on a tech lab in the near future. Meanwhile, Infestation Pit's done. What are you going to do with it, Dark? Do we see an early hive? Well, he's missed +2 carapace, and that's an important mistake. Looks like just picking off Marines in the north side is Byun. Picking off Zerglings, sorry. Just looking for those nice, easy, clean, free trades. I'd like Byun to clean up those lings as well. But right now, he's just kind of like, kill unit, pick up, kill unit, pick up. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Oh, loses about 5 Marines there. Not the end of the world. See a lot of those medevacs survived deep in the red. Marine mine trying to come forward. Good hot pickup, but a beautiful spready there from Dark. Does get rid of that. Overseer's on the way as well as a quick hive. Ultraling Bane will be hitting the field. It feels like Byun has waited too long to counterattack or pressure. It feels like Byun was not good at defending the follow-up to his 3 racks. It's an awkward situation, but I feel like this is just classic Dark. Gets way behind versus proxy racks. Re-expands at the 7-minute mark and is still somehow in the game and even ahead later on. And you're just there going, how did this happen? You got to remember that Byun tried to wall off with barracks, depots, a bunker, and a cyclone. None of that deals with Ravages very well. He should have rushed to a Banshee. It would have been an entirely different game. If he rushed to a Banshee, Byun would just have this game in the bag by now. Cyclone, it's good if there's only Roaches and Ravages, but the moment there's Speedlings, the Cyclone can't really micro back and forth, and that is an issue. Triple Widowmine production on the way. Byun does have a 4th command center. He still might be able to beat Dark in the late game, but expanding to a 5th base is always a conundrum on this map. It's very exposed and out there. Byun stims those Marines in. These Marines down here taking a decent little skirmish, but that's a lot of Ling Bane. My God, there's 126 Lings on the map. Dark, the Savage, denying the 4th base right now. He's got to watch out for the Widow Mines, though. Good spreadies to start, but nonetheless, he is taking quite some losses. 9 SCVs go down. The command center will still land. He's got an army on the north that's still looking for an opportunity, but 2 Widow Mines out front, a sensor tower, and 2 tanks. Gonna make this a little bit dicey. Show us your best spreadies, Dark. Still a Widow Mine on the north, which he ignores for now. I think he wants to get rid of that sensor tower. If he can just run forward with the Ravages and get rid of the sensor tower with Biles, that would be great. +3 melee, Adrenal Glands, and Burrow on the way. +2 Carapace did eventually get remembered, and it does now kick in, which is fantastic for Dark as his 5th base is established. Notice before he was only on 2 gases. He's now on 4 gases, going on 5 gases. He is still playing Mass Ling Bane. He does not have the gas economy to transition into Ultra. It's just Adrenal Gland, 3/3, Mass Ling Bane Queen, with a handful of Ravages left over from the early game. It's not the best composition the longer the game goes. If he swaps into Broodlords right now, I think it's in the bag. But he's only taking gases 1 at a time as he runs out of money. He honestly can't even rebuild his Banelings. I think this is a strategic error from Dark. We'll see what he can do with it. That Widow Mine. Ooh, he does end up taking the Widow Mine out before it can do too much. Chasing Byun back into his corner. And look, he's going to move forward now. He's going to bile that sensor tower. There we go. That's the move I was hoping for. But, oh, he doesn't actually take it out yet. Doesn't have enough biles. Byun builds another sensor tower slightly further behind it. I love it. 2 more command centers on the way. Byun preparing for the late game right now. Dark pulling over to that right side, still making more Banelings, keeping his opponent controlled and contained here. Byun continuing to dance with him. We're going to have to check in with that unit's lost tab in a moment. Byun, he's got, oh, Drilling Claws very exposed, and it does go down. The tank barely surviving the double bile, though. 2,000 resources in favor of Byun. Problem, creeps on the doorstep, creeps everywhere, and there's a 6th base for the Zerg. The thing that's the problem for the Zerg, though, is he's still not transitioning. Dark is stubbornly sticking to Massling Bane. He's got no gas bank at all. He's got no safety net. As the Marauders come into tank, and you have enough Widow Mines behind that spread out, it becomes a conundrum. Ling Bane will get destroyed. The Mass Ling does pretty well versus the heavy Widow Mines. We'll see if he can avoid the massive Widow Mine splashies. Big Widow Mines on the left side save some of the units, but a lot of the bio goes down there as well. The tank's trying to defend. There is so much Ling Bane, especially Zerglings, but this big ball of Marines comes in. Banelings get on top! Banelings cleanse Byun's line of Marines with a righteous acidic fury. And dude, the Ravages and Banes coming in, the SCVs need to get out of there. He's lifted his command center. Banelings get on top, another 5 SCVs go down. But it looks like Byun barely hangs on. 6 Marines, 2 Marauders, and 7 Widow Mines, all that's left. Meanwhile, Dark says, guess what? I'm back to 100 Zerglings. I'm back past 100 Zerglings. The Ravages are still alive. The same 5 Ravages from the early game. Gary, 15 kill Gary. Johnny, 4 kills. Danny 7 kills, Soju 6 kills, and this guy's got 8 kills. Those Ravagers are an elite squad that have seen a lot of action, and they just do not die. It's only the Lings and Banes that go down. The Ling Bane running forward right now. And here we go. One of the Ravagers does go down. Soju gets sniped off the backside. Massling Bane going to run down the south. He's going to find the orbital. That is not a planetary. Uh-oh. Byun is in big trouble right now. He's just getting swarmed. He's got so many orbitals that just got built, but they haven't had a chance to pay off yet. All Dark needs to do is deny his mining, and Byun's going to be broke. He simply cannot remax at the rate that Dark can. This mass mineral, 90% Zergling style, is absolutely swarmy and insane. He needs more Widow Mines or Hellbats in here, but he just doesn't quite have the numbers. And the Ling Bane is crashing through. The Natural and the Third getting breached at the same time. And like an endless flood breaking through the gates. It is just going to cascade over everything, and he's going to get drowned, man. There's just too much Zerg. That's an orbital. It does not have a planetary. Lings will clear that one out. A couple of Marines, Marauders, and Liberators are frantically trying to get out here, but they are just the dregs of a Terran up against a never-ending tsunami of Zerg. Dark, once again, punches his way out of the grave, and Byun has got to feel some regret about letting that one slip away. All right, well, falls way behind in the start. Magically gets his way back in with a Ravager Link counterattack. Dark in the bottom left now of Waterfall. It is Byun's second map pick. Looks like he's going to open up with maybe a Reaper build from the Natural. Maybe like 2-Rax Reaper opening or something like that. I feel like these maps don't have the best Reaper ledges. But it has been coming back into style a little bit on this map in Moondance. So, but wait, no gas. Ah, okay, so this is a barracks that's going to be lifted to kill an Overlord on that pillar. So on this map, you don't have many pillars in the middle. You have got like these rivers where you can kind of survive for a bit by forcing the Marines to walk around. But the only actual high ground pillar is there. So if you have a barracks that you can lift to kill that, that's actually amazing. Because I don't think there's like no pillars on Waterfall. Very clever opening by Byun here. And he's delayed his gas a lot. So he wants to go command center. So he's going to go like probably 2 Marines, get a command center here straight away. Like super fast command center. And then he'll slowly work his way up into the tech behind that. Could follow it up with the 3-Rax. We'll see which way he decides to go. Interestingly, is going to send an SCV scout across the map. On the other side, hatchery first for Dark. And he is searching everywhere around his third base for those proxy barracks. But this Overlord will arrive forwards. And that Marine, already knowing where the Overlord is going to go straight towards it. Dark realizing, damn, this Overlord's probably going to go down. He should build an extra Overlord pretty quickly. He can buy a bit of time, of course, by crossing over. He's just going to try and sacrifice it to confirm there's a command center. Dark does see the command center. He's going to have to leave 1 Marine on the low ground, and the other one will stay on the high ground. But Dark, he's already queued that Overlord. He will need to queue another one in a moment. As this Overlord does get very low, he's trying to just squeeze as many drones in first as he can. And he might even want to go for the 3rd hatchery beforehand. But definitely going to be a bit costly, that supply block. Builds the Overlord before the 3rd hatchery. That's definitely the right call. I actually would have started it a little bit earlier. I think is optimal. But a nice start for Byun. 3 Marines are also going to push forward, but Dark knows this build, and he pulls his Overlords back into ultra-conservative positioning. Beautiful. Really good, deep understanding by Dark of just the fact that if you leave those Overlords sticking out, they're free pickoffs. And the Marines can even obviously pressure the hatchery, try and get a bit of damage done. And if you don't pull your Queens or build some Lings, you could even lose the hatchery. But Byun, not going to commit all that hard. He's just going to pull to the right. He's looking for these units, seeing if there's any Overlords. Factory's finished. A Hellion, 2 more Marines building. Starport is on the way. And the Orbital, of course, is also upgrading. Marines seeing if a Creep Tumor spreads a bit too far forwards. Dark being very conservative. Now he knows there's the Marines there. He does not want to spread Creep and get it sniped for free. Barracks does lift off. We've got double Hellion production right now. Completely pulled off gas is Dark. He's got 2 Queens up front, 2 more building behind it. Byun dancing around with this Hellion. He's on the high ground, so he says, look, he can't see me here. He spreads a Creep Tumor in that direction. I get a free sniper. Isn't that cute? It's just outside of vision. And there we go. Byun perfectly placed just outside of the Overlord's vision as well. Gets a Creep Tumor there. Extra Hellions are pumping out. We've got a Cloak Medevac coming out, guys. So that's what we call a fake upgrade. He's basically saying, let's fake Cloak. So if a Ling runs up, he will see that and he won't realize it's not actually Banshees. But, uh-oh, committing to a medevac Marines and Fake Cloak plus Hellbats versus what is an actual 2-gas Roach Zergling attack. This is once again Byun's map. And Dark, oh, okay. If Dark sees the medevac, that's going to be pretty nice. Hellions clean that up. Hellion runs in. He sees not many drones on the third. 4 minutes 30 and so few drones on the third. That's a tell. And he starts a Banshee immediately. Very wise. Oh, he was actually always planning to keep the cloak. He was just going to go medevac Marine drop, then Banshee. Okay. Well, the problem is that these buildings are exposed on the natural. So the moment those roaches get up there, they can start killing your Banshee production. Banshees will eventually defend it. The question is, can Dark get enough damage done in the time he's given? Now, this is a Marine Hellbat push. The Hellbats are not very nimble. As soon as he sees roaches, he should run. Get out of there, Byun. Yeah, Byun's immediately going to run away. The Hellbats might try to morph into Hellions. I think they're a little slower than the roaches, but maybe similar speed here. The Hellbats trying to get out of here. Byun not morphing them into Hellions, which means the Hellbats will get stuck if the Zerglings do try to engage on them. Marines dropping on the high ground, though. Oh, that's really clever. Oh, and there's a Banshee here as well. Banshee's going to say no, no. Oh, this is actually really awkward. Dark cannot get anything done. He can't get anything done. This is such a late attack. 10 roaches, mass Zerglings. And what does he do? He gets like a Hellbat? He kills 1 Hellion so far. Oh man, this is a rough start for Dark. Both of the maps that weren't his map pick, he's gone for highly aggressive builds. Byun's played exceptionally safe. You know, normally I don't say this, but Dark might be playing a bit too predictably. It feels like Byun understands what his goal is in the game. Byun's like, yeah, this is my map pick. You're going to do a silly, cheesy attack. And Dark's like, ooh, this is not my map pick. Let's surprise him with a, you know, nice little cheeky attack. Byun's like, bit transparent there, buddy. I saw this one coming. You know, you did it on Moondance. Now you're doing it on Waterfall. Both maps, I'm getting way ahead, crushing these openings. And Dark there, not finding anything. 3 sneaky roaches. He was hoping to backstab with those while a counterattack was coming in. But instead, he's now back to droning, going double Evo, Lair. Trying to play a macro game, he's just doing it from a far inferior position. Byun is absolutely crushing right now, man. He is way ahead in this game. The Banshees are going to find a base with no Spore in the mineral line. Nice transfuse to save the Ravager. A couple drones do go down. I like that there's 2 Spore Crawlers that quickly move over here, but that does give up area control of this part. Overseer coming forward. Here comes the Hellbat Marine. Banshees take a lot of damage. One of those does go down. Roach Ravager Queen is a pretty nimble force on creep, so it's not something that you want to really push into with very slow, awkward Hellbats. Marines without stim. Well, they actually have stim now, so he could turn and kill these roaches. Especially with the Banshee, which does start to push those back. 3rd command center landed, orbital morphing. Only down a handful of workers, which is usually pretty good for Terran, and not just that, guys. That's 8 barracks. Ooh, okay, and he's not even, oh my god, he's not even building out. He's just going to go mass 8 racks push. Now, we were talking with Rainer the other day. He was saying a lot of Terrans like to 8 racks. If they see you open Roach Ravager, most Zergs will transition into Ling Bane from here. And there's a real big weak point around the 8-9 minute mark where they've got some Lings, some Banes. They don't really have any melee upgrades yet. Their Bane speed's not done. Their Hive's not done. And the Terran can just kill them with an 8 rack shove. But you know what that doesn't work against? A Zerg that's just sitting on 66 workers, 1-1 upgrades, and massing Roach Ravager. The opening may have sucked, but as long as Dark just waits for Byun to push across the map with this 8 racks, Dark will win. Dark does not know it's an 8 racks though, and he's already going for a Nidus with this as well. So Dark's like, okay, I'm doing a Roach all-in. If he gets the scouting and realizes that it's actually Byun who's going to push, he can wait for Byun to push out, ambush his army, and then spring across the map with a counterattack. That will be the one play that could get Dark back in a really good position. But if he just throws the Nidus up, that will not work. He sees a barracks with no add-on. That's a huge tell. I don't know if Dark realizes it or not. But, oh, actually, you know what? I think Byun even senses something. He's got a 4th command set. He's also got a pack of Marines just out of vision. And he's building tech labs now. So Byun changes his plan. I don't know what Byun saw. If it was just the Roaches and Ravagers on the front or what. But he seems... I think it's because the Overseer set up in vision, actually. The Overseer sets up in vision. Immediately, Byun's like, oh, you've got a Nidus. And he starts just sieging up, spreads Marines in the main, starts building a 4th command center. He says, let's just survive for a longer game. And look at that. Complete shutdown on the first Nidus. Dark with a big spready, but Byun sitting back and waiting to receive him. Oh, the tanks are going to slay. But wait, the Lings get on top of the tanks. Byun, uh-oh, big mistake. But Good movement with the Marines. One of the tanks goes down. Another tank will fall momentarily, but not quite. The two tanks are still barely alive in the red. Oh no, that's a disaster for Dark. Doesn't get either of the tanks, and like we said, he needed to wait for Byun to move out and ambush him. There was no way he was going to break in with that, but he felt like he was too far behind to go into the longer game. Dark trying to force the issue here, and it feels like Byun is just so far ahead in the mental game, reading his plays ahead of time, anticipating them and shutting them down. It is so rare that I see anyone have such a good read on Dark. I always describe him as slippery, as fluid and unpredictable and so hard to play against because you can't predict what he's going to do. And this is the first time I've seen someone just be like one step ahead at almost every stage. Of course, the defense of the Roachling counterattack in that last game does beg to differ, but let's exclude that one from this analysis for a moment, shall we? The Banshee coming in, getting a little bit of harassment. 2-2 upgrades on the way, mass bio. And most importantly, Byun's got a fourth base established behind this. He's up in workers. There's no infestors, there's no lurkers, and it's a tiny map, so there's not much room to really use those units anyway. Banshee on 11 kills, gonna make it 12. Oh! Nice transfuse. Nice double transfuse! The drone, the luckiest drone alive. Guys, go donate blood. Without it, that drone would not be alive right now. Marines and tanks gathering up on the front. The Roach Ravager coming out there, trying to buy time. Gets a medevac at least. Does bait a stim out. The Bios can buy a little bit of time, but with 2-2 finishing and just simply more Marine Marauder, it is a better army for Byun than what Dark has on the field, even with most of the tanks not sieged. Unless he lands some big Bios, I don't think he can hold this army back. He's trying to go Pathogen Glands for the Infestors. If he did this earlier, I think it would have worked really well, but he's doing this a little bit more as an afterthought. We'll see how he can pull it off. Roach Ravager trying to come forward. Big Biles still could land. Tank on the right side will go down. A few Biles in the middle holding things back. That is a lot of Ravagers. 12 Ravagers are out, adding 2 more. Dark and Rainer are the 2 players who can make magic comebacks happen with Mass Ravager, but this is a hard spot. Look at that commitment by Byun. He shoves forward to avoid the Biles. Does take a lot of hits, but he's got an extra factory behind it. Concussive shells has come in, plus 3 armor, the classic Byun. Armor before attack upgrades because he hits the hotkeys in that order. He always goes armor, attack. And if he only has up money for 1 upgrade, then only the armor starts. He's gotten very good at coming back and double checking it and remembering to start the second one though. As I say it, there we go, he goes and does it. Marauder's coming forward, trying to delay the creep spread. Dark's still on a very basic comp. He's got his first Infestor coming out right now. He's got Pathogen Glands up, so if he could get like 3 or 4 Infestors, he could definitely catch these big bio armies, bile down the tanks, swap into Lurkers, and at the Lurker stage, well, I was going to say I have faith in him fighting anything at the Lurker stage. Ghosts on such a small map are really good. Like, Ghosts versus Roach Hydra destroy on this small map. But Dark's got good positioning with a few Infestors to maybe fungal the Ghosts. It could be awesome. Marauder trying to hang out. He's going to pull back to the left side. Got a Nidus Worm in the main base going up, but Byun notices it, immediately shuts it down. He's going up to 3 Infestors is Dark, so he's going to try and get that splash damage in here. 5th Command Center on the way for Byun. Byun's clearing up so much creep and map control. He's going to try and drop the main, but Spores and Queens are aplenty there. And on the right side, Biotank stumbles into an army, but the upgrade lead, at least against the Zerglings, is very real. The drop goes south, sees the Spores, and decides no. Byun does cancel that base on the right side as well. Byun's just going to try and drop here to the right side. Catches Dark off guard. I think this is where a big juicy fungal would really be called for, but Queen's coming from the high ground, so that's pretty good. He's going to at least shut down the medevacs, but on the right side, ooh, the tank's coming in. Looks like a lot of units did go down. Big fungal. Nice, juicy fungal lands on a lot of that bio. The bio's taking a pretty awkward fight, but the bio on the left destroys. Every single queen goes down. Dark, desperate to break this right side so he can focus on the left, but he's going to lose the hatchery, and that is an absolute disaster for him. But you know what? Medevac's basically dead. Do not lose the Infestor. Nice, second fungal there. We'll take down all of that. 3 Infestors, 14 Ravagers, 11 Roaches. Lurker upgrades coming in, and the Ghost production is going to time out with that. By the time the Lurkers are on the field, there will already be Ghosts, and that is such a huge problem. The Ghosts are just going to be the perfect answer to the Vipers and the Lurkers. And of course, this army here just beats the Roach Ravager. We're seeing it. The units lost have 4,000 resources lower. And of course, Dark is also down about 17 workers. So, oh man, if Dark wins this game, I am going to dub him Grand Nagus, Wizard of the Land, King of the Zerg, he who wins games that he should not. Puncher of the Coffin. Actually, we should give him something more succinct. We'll call him Coffin Puncher Dark. Because no matter how many times you put him in that coffin, just like Dracula, he springs back out, punches his way out of the coffin, zombies his way up. I'm looking at this from both sides. I'm like, if I was a Terran and I lost from here, I would be distraught. And if I was a Zerg and I won from here, I would be absolutely gleeful. Dark is a hero, and I never count him out. I just watch, and I go, what sort of crazy gamble is he going to try and bet on to get himself back in this game? What sort of weird move? Now, the classic one in late game TvT or Lurker versus Terran late game is the Terran might focus all his defense here and here, at which point an avenue opens up down the center. And if you can push onto his production with Lurkers, you can win the game by getting just a setup in between his bases, and he won't be able to deal with it. He just kills some of his own medevacs to get more ghosts. Cool. Byun's like, yeah, I don't need 10 medevacs. Kills 1 or 2 medevacs. Not bad. Massing command centers to prepare for the late game as well. Dark and Rogue, both very good at doing one big shove. The problem is that Byun is going to be able to trade for days, and he's got just an army that should be better at trading. Dark's going to try and shove in Byun there. Ooh, his first snipes got interrupted. A tank does get abducted. Another tank gets abducted. Hey, sieged up on the base. This is not a bad situation. 11 SCVs go down. I'm not sure how many units got sniped already, though. 1 Viper, 2 Lurkers did get sniped. The rest was just Roaches, not the most important. Oh, God. Oh, God, golly, damn. That is a big old way to counterattack, though. Fungal coming forward. EMP takes out the rest of the energy on the Infestors, trying to shove forward. Dark just going for a savage thrust, and he did say, I am going to play rock, scissors, paper, rock today. I'm going to try and just surprise him with big, crazy moves. But you know what? Every time he goes into Byun's maps, Byun is absolutely ready for them, and Dark needs to surprise him. He needs to play scissors, paper, rock, machine gun. He's got to mix it up. All right, let's go. Game number 4. He's got a 2-1 lead. He needs 2 more wins to seal the deal in this best of 7. Byun with Barracks Gas opening, repping Shopify Rebellion in style. Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Dark in the bottom left side as well. Now, I've heard tell, those watching live in Twitch chat can report back, but I heard a rumor that TLO, the Dark president of Shopify Esports department, has basically bribed Byun. He said, Byun, if you don't win this tournament, then you have to get Shopify Rebellion tattooed on the side of your dog. So Byun is extra motivated. He wants to preserve his cute puppy's beautiful coat of fur. That's how TLO motivates his players, for those who don't know. Really fits with his personality, you know? Evil. He's like, you must win this tournament. Otherwise, there will be consequences. I think I saw Dario in the chat before. He might have already pieced out, but we'll see. Either way, let's get back to the cast. Blind Command Center first. Reaper expand here. Byun happy to take some risks. Now, this is going to be Dark's map pick, and Dark's going back to a more standard opening, but Dark can't be too transparent with this sort of stuff. You can't just play way too safe on your maps and then way too greedy, or way too aggressive and kind of crazy all-ins on your opponent's maps. That back and forth is a bit too simple. We were actually talking about it before. In Byun's interview with Hero, we were like, after he defeated Hero, we're like, yeah, you know, like, how did you know to SCV scout in the one map where you caught him proxy stargating you? And Byun said, well, Hero basically just, I got a feeling that he just goes really all in one game, and then he plays really greedy the next game, and he just swaps back and forth between the two. So, you know, I had a feeling he was going to do that build there. Maru also told me that he's been doing a lot of proxy Stargate 1 base plays, so that probably helped him as well. Maru giving Byun the hot tip. But yeah, it's something where you can feel like Byun's actually anticipating his opponent's build orders very well. And look at this. First game where he's played 3 command center. And it's up against a very defensive build for Dark that doesn't have any aggressive potential, at least not yet. Second gas on the way, as well as a starport. Alright, Hellions starting up. Usually, as long as they start by 318, you've done your build pretty tight. Those started at about 315, so Byun very crisp, as you expect at this level of play. Oh, he's going for the dive, but the second queen comes down and blocks him from getting towards those creep tumors. Good movement by both players. Oh, Byun, don't lose that. Does get out of there. Jumps down past whatever the hell that is. Is that a mushroom and a thing growing out of like a bit of colorful wood? I'm not even sure. The plants on this map, a little bit odd. Hellions coming forward. And it is going to be a Banshee. Could just be safety Banshee, but I think we'll see Cloak once he hits 100 gas. Just with the 3 command center build, your second gas is so late that the Cloak does start up a little bit later. And there we go. Does start off. Dark's already got 1, 2, 3, 4 active tumors and a 5th one in the main, which you can spread around the main base. Uh-oh. Ooh, a little bit slow of a response there, Dark. Dark did not have an Evo chamber on the bottom, but only a single drone goes down. Luckily, the Hellion doesn't die. That was actually some pretty sick Spore Crawler extractor tricks there. The problem Dark's having is this Overlord's not correctly placed. It should be out here. He's also missing an Overlord up here. So he's really prioritizing the drop Liberator Banshee Overlords. But because of that, he doesn't have full vision of where those Hellions are. So I do think he could definitely push that creep out or those Overlords a little further. Maybe worried about a Viking coming in to snipe them off. Armory goes down. Well, Byun is just the Hellbat man today, isn't he? Lair goes down, though, which tells us there'll be a Baneling Nest any second now. When you play Lair this early, you usually want to go very quick Baneling speed. So you want to go Baneling Nest soon after the Lair starts. So the moment the Lair finishes, you can go Baneling speed. Dark is actually going to go double Evo and a Baneling Nest. So he's going to try and go for both. And I guess with the early second Gas Geyser, he might just be able to pull that off. This does delay his 4th base a little bit, but it gives him a very safe mid-game. Baneling Nest is a little late right now. Oh, the Wall-Off is not ready. Oh, the Marine, though. Holds the wall like an absolute champion. 2 Banshees going to get escorted out. Dark has no scouting, so he has no idea about this. Seeing the depot timing, he probably could have assumed that it was 3cc. 1 upgrades are on the way. And here we go. Hellions and Reapers going to start clearing up some creep Banshees. Going to come in. They have not been spotted by Dark. He's building spores now, but he's just started them at 5:30. They're so late. Dark does not have an Overseer either. Banshees and Hellbats coming on in the front. 1 Queen already taking a lot of damage. He's focusing on a very high energy Queen. And already, it's getting very low. That's a big problem for Dark. The Queens are going to take it down. It does get a transfuse off just before it goes down, but not by long. The Overseer is going to finish up in a moment. These Banshees will have to back away, as will these Hellbats. Banelings coming forward. The little waddly boys would love to explode on those Hellbats in a clump. But you know what? A good little trade. Units lost tab. You can see there, 2 Hellbats and a Reaper for 2 Queens. All the transfuse is gone, and not just that, but Dark misses injects. We're going to talk about this many times this series. Anytime you scare Dark or you force him to react, he has to pull all his Queens to the front. Now, what the hell? Is that 3 Banshees? Dark drops a Spire. This is a huge mistake for Byun. To show that he's going mass Banshee this early is a big mistake. If you're playing Hyperflight Rotors, you should only go 2 Banshees at a time. He's trying to play Banshee Mech, which is a really cool style. But he's given it away by rallying the Banshees to the front. This is a lazy rally point on that. And unless he can keep the momentum up and go do some more damage, Dark's going to get Mutas or Corruptors out. And they're going to shut those Banshees down. This basically forces Byun to go Thors, which does work very well. Thor Hellbat Banshee is an incredibly high damage army. I've seen Maru do this on the ladder when he's trolling on his stream. Whenever he loses, which often happens if he plays against someone as good as Dark or Solar when he does it, he then will say to his chat, this is why you don't do this build, it's really stupid. I've seen Maru literally say this on his stream after losing a game with this build on it. I've also seen Zergs die to it and get frustrated. So it's a bit of a gamble, man. It's a bit of a gamble, but it can pay off. The Spire's not ready. That is a lot of Banshees. Where's the Overseer? Where is the Overseer right now, guys? The Overseer way too far down. He didn't build a second Overseer. Dark being so greedy. Guys, you normally make 2 Overseers if you're versing even 2 Banshees because you want to split your Queens up and stop them rotating. But Dark loses a few Queens there because of that. Doesn't matter, though. He's got the Spire up. The Mutas are coming. Cyclones are only now being started. Byun should be building Thors rather than Cyclones, in my opinion. Cyclones suck against Mutas. You can eventually deal with them if you have a bigger economy. But he's going to be very turret reliant, at least in the initial phase. Banshees are one of the highest damage units in the game, by the way, so they are fantastic. But a problem happens now that the Carapace is kicked in. They no longer... Is it they no longer 2-shot +1 Carapace or +2 Carapace drones? I'm not quite sure of the numbers, but we'll see, of course, as this game progresses. Thors are starting up. Byun playing Mech against Dark is perhaps one of the strangest things I've ever seen. Byun and Mech it's like oil and water. It's 2 things that normally don't mix together. bio enthusiasts wake up in their nightmares and see Byun riding a siege tank into the driveway in their house and saying, come on, come for a ride. 5 factories up, lots of Thors, and 2 reacted factories pumping Hellions. He's going to have a giant army with like 1 billion Hellbats. So if they spread out well, he's going to need so many Banelings to do it, man. Oh, no. Oh, Dark Savage says, we're going to go 7 games in this grand finals, Dark. 15 workers for a wave of Banelings, and he's got a good economy. Banshees go in, they kill 2 drones. They're going to try and kill a hatchery, but the mutas are on their way. Speed for the Overlords is done as well, which means the Overseer can keep up with these Banshees. Get out of there, Banshees. Uh-oh. They're starting to run out of energy as well. Uh-oh. Oh, he screwed the pooch. He should have shift-clicked those back after killing the hatchery. He's going to lose 3 of them, maybe even... Oh, if he loses all 5, that's huge. Oh, these are expensive units. Oh, each one of those is a full 100 gas, man. That is not cheap. Banelings are running around as well as these mutas trying to rotate. Banelings looking to go to the north side. 6th base coming up as well as a 5th for Dark. So he's trying to improve the hatchery count. I like that there's Hellions roaming. They can be a run by a squad, or they can, of course, stop the enemy run bys, but nothing on the north. He's building a sensor tower, but it's not ready yet. Byun better react quickly. The mutas distract him. They do their job brilliantly. Byun pulls a little slow, and already 6 SCVs go down. Refinery on fire as well. Thors and Hellions will defend there. Still a giant maxed out mech army in the near future. How many Thors we got? 6 Thors, 4 Cyclones. There's no Widow Mines, though. The Hellbats need to spread. Giant spready needed. And, oh, he's trying to swap into Hellions. The Lings are going for a run by Dark with a genius idea. He says, hey, I need to buy time. Let's just send the Lings around as a run by. I'm not going to fight into the giant blob of slow mech units that are trying to attack me. Transformation servers is on the way. That will speed up the transformation speed. Ling's going for a big old surround. It is going to be a costly trade for Dark, but he does take out a big section of Hellbats. Mass Muta run by 24 Mutas. Are going to go after the Orbitals. He's going to just roll into the Hellbats with the Banelings. The moment the Hellbats are gone, the Thors are very weak. Byun needs to pull home and defend right now. He cannot keep pushing. This is a terrible army. He'll get surrounded by Lings and killed. He needs more Hellions desperately. He's trying to build a mixture of Hellions and Hellbats. The Thor's trying to defend. That command center will be going down. SCVs try to repair, but they're not going to be able to get it in time. Dark takes down the command center. The Thor, the absolute nincompoop, is shooting an Overseer. Thor's getting surrounded by Lings. Banelings chasing down any Hellbats that want to try to reinforce. Dark showing a masterclass of mobility. He has the far inferior army of nothing but Lingbane Muta. It is terrible objectively against mech. All it has is mobility, and Dark says, that's all I need, buddy. Out positions it, just absolutely rolls around it, ignores fighting at any bad angle, and gets rid of all the Hellbats. So the Thors, undefended, are absolutely destroyed by the Zerglings. Very well played by Dark. All right, well, a creative mech build coming out. Now he's going back to proxy barracks, and he's going deep with it. This is Shopify Rebellions Beyond. These SCVs are going super deep. Oh, this is a big gamble. See if it pays off. Dark in the bottom left side. Now, this is one of those ones where I have seen quite a few Zergs leave right up to even here, completely free of vision. Because the Overlord is usually going so far to the right that I actually think right here you can often get away with the barracks. And it looks like he might just be able to. Now, this is only a 2 barracks. This is not a 3 barracks proxy like in the previous game. What's cool about this building positioning is if he does get completely overrun, he can rally Marines on the backside. And Lings can't really counterattack. They have to go all the way around. So that is a kind of cool advantage of it. Now, because he goes for the gas there, this is the build Maru used a lot in 2018. He's going to be able to go for a quick factory into a command center behind it. And he's looking to do damage, force a lot of Zerglings, kill some drones. Killing the hatchery would be way more than he would ever be expecting from this build. However, with the Overlords really very far away, if he can get a bunker up, like if he went up and started building a bunker right now and got it finished before Dark even saw it, because of course he's only got very small vision till the hatchery's done, then absolutely Byun could get way more out of this than he's expecting to. Oh man. Here we go. Dark has no idea right now, guys. Dark has no idea at all. He's just coming down to mine. He doesn't see it. The Marines start shooting it now as the hatchery finishes, and Dark is like, oh, man. Oh! Oh! I hope Crank translates for us in the chat. Fingers crossed. Sigh! Oh, my God. And a bit of a smiley face there for Byun. Dark is like, are you kidding me? How did I not see this? And Byun is like, hey, you see, you keep only doing rushes on my maps? How about I rush you on my map? You see, I'm unpredictable. Dark is not in a good spot. He's going Ling speed, he's still mining gas, and he's making a spine. So Dark is going to do one of his famous Baneling busts. So what Dark does here, right, guys, is he loses the hatchery, he falls way behind, and then what he's going to do is he's going to... Actually, is he going to send the spine down? He can't save the hatch. There's no way. No, he's going to slowly break out with the spine, and then he's going to flood Ling Bane, and he's going to bust the wall. And Byun should be prepared. I mean, he should have won the 3-racks game back on Cosmic Sapphire, but he messed that one up, so no doubt there might be a little bit of nervousness out of him. The reacted factory already building, though. I don't think Lings are going to do particularly well. He only unloads one bunker, which is kind of odd. He could have almost killed that spine if he unloaded this bunker as well. Gets the spine to half-life. He's doing a good bit of in and out micro. Notice if he can pop out in between the tentacle strikes, he can basically dodge the tentacle hitting his marines, get some hits off on it. Ooh, especially if Dark doesn't quickly retarget that. Very nice damage by Byun. The spine's getting pretty low. Spine does retarget, but it's already taken a lot of damage. Oh man, he's going to lose the spine. But the Lings are coming forward. Ling speed is ready. He goes for a big old surround. Dark is going to bust out of this. Notice he goes straight for the repairing SCVs. Wait, he didn't target that last one. Does finally go down. The Marines, as they fall, the damage output drops. The Lings ravage the final Marines, but not before a lot of units go down. Similar units lost tab, but remember the hatchery died. This Overlord's going to go down as well, which is going to make Dark dangerously close to being supply blocked, and he's already got Hellions out, which means the Lings cannot do anything to counterattack. Dark starts a natural. He's moving out to take a third base as well, but I feel like the first 4 to 6 Hellions are going to be a massive, massive problem. A huge obstacle for Dark to overcome, and I mean, Byun is definitely gambling a lot to do this, right? Committing to 2 different proxy barrack strategies. Hats off to him, by the way, for putting the command center on the high ground. Very safe. No reason to risk putting that on the low ground here. I always say that the most dangerous Terrans are those who mix in the proxy barracks, mix in the all-ins. MVP in his heyday, the King of Wings of Liberty. He would proxy barracks about 1 in 3 games. Maru in 2018 would proxy barracks about 1 in 2 or 3 games. Probably 1 in 2 in 2018. Maru proxy barracks a disgusting amount of the time. And even when it went terribly wrong, he'd still just make a comeback and win. Queens are building up. We've got double barracks, of course, as the natural follow-up. Viking will come forwards and start hunting Overlords. And he's going to build a reactor and start making medevacs. Stim Marines. Command Center is, of course, pumping out orbitals and SCVs. No, he's not very far ahead on the workers, but you've got to realize that Byun already has 2 barracks, a factory, and a starport. He's even adding a tank in here. So he's already thinking about dropping a tank there, sieging it up, and killing the third of Dark. And that sort of push is so hard to deal with, man. Viking's going to come down here and find a few stranded Overlords. If he targets this one first, I think he should target the deep one first, because that's harder to escape, this one on the left. But he's just going to take the safe kill for now. If the Queens all move over to the edge to defend as well, then it could open up an opportunity for the Hellions to dive. Hellions are there on that right side, top right of our screen. There's not many drones for them to hit, though. Queens will manage to keep that Overlord alive for now. But this also just pushes Dark's vision further and further into a corner. He sees a pack of Marines. He does not know about the tanks. If you can queue 1 more tank here as Byun, and like I said, get 2 tanks in a medevac. 2 tank, 20 Marine with stim push. Abusing some of these tank spots, or even down here. Oh, so delicious. This map has some of the best tank spots on the entire map pool. Dark, he's way behind on economy. He's going to go double Evo chamber, so I think he's going to play that heavy Zergling style. It's a pretty good way of getting back in it because you can stay super low on gas. Now, he does need to put back on this gas, guys. I guess he figures he has enough gas for 1-1 to start, so he's not even mining it. He's like, well, I mined so much extra gas at the start of the game. So, you know, let's just not gas mine until I've got 3 mineral lands up. It's a full focus on mineral only to recovery, and it's a good way to do it. Every queen up the front. No, he's left 1 queen on the natural injecting, but here comes the double drop. He's only got 19 Zerglings. Uh-oh. Double drop comes in without him spotting it. If he can get a surround on some of these Marines, he might kill a few of them. Oh, that's really good surround. Dark actually kills like 4 Marines really early. That's a good fight for Dark. Byun getting a bit too eager. Viking very late to land there. And that's a very important defense. This was a scary moment because it's very fragile at that stage of the game. Now, Dark needs to get a 5th base and extra hatchery up. You can see he's now starting to take these gases, realizing, okay, I have no gas after starting 1-1. I can't even afford a lair. Like, this is a little bit of a desperate position to be in, but Byun's third command center has only just started, so it's not like Byun is way ahead. He's had an awkward follow-up to his proxy barracks as well. Lair does start up for Dark. Behind this, it is 3 barracks now producing. Combat Shields is finished. And there's 2 medevacs. I still think Byun has amazing push potential. And it would be mad of him to not push. There we go. He's going to move forwards. Zergling of Dark sees no third base. He has no idea that this push is coming just yet. Baneling Nest is on the way. I think the best bet for Dark is for him to... Oh, he's hoping to see. And he does actually see that there is a unit's moving out. He's got 58 drones versus 43 SCVs. He's got 24 lings, 9 queens. His 1-1 upgrades is way quicker. So Byun's going to be fighting with 0-0 units. Problem is he's going to have an amazing tank position. Look at these tanks. So you can drop Marines on the left and you can branch units forward. You've got Hellions to stop a ling flank. The Marines are going to be a real problem. The Queens have their work cut out for them, but they are low on energy. Already one of them goes down. Lings get a good wraparound, dragging a little bit of tank splash onto the Marines, but the medevacs pull back. They don't quite get finished. The focus fire of the Queens, they're unable to complete that. 1-1 upgrades do now come in. Nothing but mass ling on the way. A macro hatch and a 4th base are both producing right now for Dark, but his 3rd base is wide open. Queens coming forward. They snag a medevac. That tank at the front needs to get taken out, but he's only got 3 Queens hitting it. And the Marines, there's just no answer to the Marines. The Zerglings are just hanging back here, not helping the Queens. This is a disaster for Dark. Byun just surprising him with the proxy 2 racks. As I said, if you kill that hatchery, it's way more than you ever expected to get out of a proxy 2 racks build. Byun got the hatchery, and that was, of course, just way too much damage. Dark having to rebuild off 1 base. He was way behind. Byun set up with a very nice 2-base push. Oof. Alright, we've got 1-1 upgrades on the way. Hellions are coming forward. Mule is trying to repair those Hellions, hilariously enough. Another tank is going to wedge itself in front of that ramp and try to bait him into this tank line. Non-speed Banelings are pretty much worthless in this scenario, and Dark is about to tap out. He will take out 1 tank for his entire army, and that is not a good feeling. Alright, well, neither player has broken the other one on their map yet, but if he can do it here, he will close out the series with a 4-2. Shopify Rebellion's Byun in the bottom left. Same scoreline with which he won the 2016 World Championship Grand Finals versus Dark. He'd love to do it. Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Dark. Shopify Rebellion being represented by Byun. And it's Stardust. Now, this is a map which has some very interesting features. Not only is it on the bottom of the ocean floor, so units will float upwards when they die. There's coral and fish and all sorts of things swimming around, which we'll be able to see soon. Here we go. But more importantly, you've got some nasty tank spots. So if Dark expands to this 3rd base, there's a couple of tank spots here where you really can't get in there because there's just these tiny chokes. So tanks and Marines there are almost unbreakable and they can siege this base. Byun is famous for utilizing that spot. He's also famous for sieging tanks up here with some Marines and Hellions and sieging there, and then also elevating Marines onto this ledge here, here, and here, depending on where the defense is lightest, and really just harassing the Zerg to death. He's famous for opening up with a bit heavier Marine tank aggression, delaying his 3rd command center till about the 5-minute mark or 5:30 mark to do that. So it's kind of in between a normal macro build and a 2-base push. And Dark on the other side of things is going to be going... Chat just asked, why did Dark go for an 18 hatch? I did not see that, but surely he didn't. There would be no reason to go... He might have gone 17, but even that's kind of silly. Some players have been going 17 hatch recently. We'll keep our eyes on it and see. But if the pool and the hatchery line up exactly, then that usually means it is a 16 hatchery. Oh, no. The hatchery is very late. Ooh, Dark is famous for being really sloppy with his build orders. This is delaying his Queens and Zerglings by about 5 seconds. Yeah, this is a sloppy build from Dark. Okay. It might have been a 17 hatch, but definitely a little sloppy. He's building 6 lings as well against a guy who has built 1 Reaper, but it's a bigger map. You really don't need 6 Zerglings to defend a Reaper. Very inefficient opening for Dark, and I feel like Byun can get a bit of damage done here. He'll be very happy. He's going to be going 3 command center behind this. So he's happy to open up with that big economy build on Dark's big macro maps. Reaper looking for some kills. Not quite able to get it. Good Zergling dance. I guess you need 6 Zerglings if your Queen is this delayed from messing your opening up. So fair enough. Doesn't lose any units. Those lings will come in handy later on. 3rd command center goes down behind this. Reaper looks to bounce the Queen. He's trying to He's delaying just by threatening going back, and he's hoping to catch her in the act of dropping the tumor, but eventually gets too low and does have to back off. Starport's on the way. Factory swapping over to get those Hellions started. Of course, second gas is more important though. So the Hellions normally start about 315, 318. We'll see those in a moment. Creep would love to spread forward. Sorry guys about the bad observing there. Try and stop those jagged movements. But I do wonder what Byun brings out. I can't imagine he'll play mech again. That really felt like a sort of Hail Mary. Let's hope I surprise my opponent. And rallying the Banshees out under an Overlord was just a big disaster for him. So it looked like it was going well, and then he just messed it up. And building a few Cyclones as well, I think. Nowhere near as good as just going straight into the Thors. So maybe not the best execution from him. Now, he did say in the other day when we were talking to Byun in one of his interviews, we were saying, hey, I was like, dude, you look like the second best Terran versus Terran player in the world. Like, obviously implying that only Maru's ahead of him. And he actually said that he thinks Gumiho is better than Maru. So maybe he's been friends with Gumiho. His mind has been tainted by the dirty creative mech player. And that's why Byun is mixing that in there. You know, Gumiho's whispering in his ear. He's worm-tonguing him. The Terran Riders of Rohan just going to swap their style up. Hellions and Reapers do manage to get a creep tumor there. Queens with really good movement, though. Very good control by Dark. And Dark, as always, puts back on gas so late these days, man. 4 minutes 30, he puts back on gas. Like, what in the heck? Oh! Did he just run 2 Zerglings in and kill the red hit point Hellion? Yes, he did. Dark, I think he had the Lings down there to try and scout, but he was like, wait, there's a red hit point Hellion running home, and he ran up and just one-shot it. What a sicko. 3 more barracks. So 2 more barracks, sorry, going up to 3 barracks. The double engineering bay will go down next. Overlord still giving some vision over there. And I think we're going to just see double Evo and Lair again, I would imagine. Lair goes down. He's already on 2 gases. His gas mining's so late, he actually can't afford double Evo forever. I'm surprised Dark doesn't take a faster 4th base. With how mineral-focused his build is, it feels like he'd have the extra minerals, but I guess he just wants to over-drone his minerals and then take all the gases and only then do it. Double Evo Bane Nest does go down, but he's not going to be able to use those Evo chambers immediately, as his gas count is a little low. He sees the 3rd command center for the first time, confirms that is getting SCVs built on it. SCVs do take that Zergling out. The second Zergling could come in and kill the SCVs if it wants to. Hellions are roaming the map. Banshee's going to come in the right side. Banshees are one of the less flexible ways of doing damage. And look at this. Dark with a perfect queen split. 3 in the main, 5 up front to deal with the Hellions. Once the Lair's done, we should see 2 Overseers morphing as well. Looks like he got an SCV kill there. Byun taking a little bit of damage. Byun is just set up for a Biomine macro game here. So he's not thinking about the tank spots at all. Fascinating. I think this might be because Dark has been massing Zerglings versus him so much and playing such a greedy mineral style. The problem is if Byun doesn't push hard and fast, look at the worker count. Dark's already going to 78 workers. On the other hand, Dark's 4th is ridiculously late considering the build he's done. I mean, he's already building 2 macro. Yeah, this is... Okay, so this is Dark's super inefficient macro build. If he gets away with it, if you leave him until like 8 minutes, it pays off big because he has unlimited lava because he's got 6 hatcheries already. But if you actually attack him with any sort of crisp timing, this build really suffers because his 4th base is so late. Most of his drones are just long distance mining, so that's kind of inefficient. And it feels like, yeah, he's just kind of like not actually got that much creep spread or anything like that. And double macro hatch investment this early is very inefficient. You can see he's hitting supply blocks and that sort of stuff. So this is classic Dark play where there is a technical, you know, suboptimalness to part of his play. But it takes a very crisp timing to punish him, and that's not what Byun's doing. He's building a 4th command center, he's building a 2nd factory. I think Dark is sensing that he's up against this very passive style from Byun, where Byun's not really going to get going until a bit later in the game. Byun's only now starting some light pressure. So it feels like Dark's confident that he can get straight to Hive, straight to 5 bases, straight to 2-2 upgrades, and basically just have a macro party in the early game. Hatchery does get cancelled on the south side. Still got good creep on the north, and he's just going to re-expand up there. 75 drones versus 71. The Lings and the Banes. Bane speed's not quite ready just yet. As it kicks in, this army will definitely get pushed back. Byun's just trying to bait him into bad Widowmine shots, but the first one gets defused for a single Zergling. See that Widowmine just floating up to the surface there. The Lings could start getting set up for some run-bys as well. Will Byun go for a planetary or an orbital is my question. He's been very orbital focused lately. He makes a planetary, cancels it, and then makes an orbital. So he is planning to make orbitals. Part of the reason is you can lift that, so Mass Baneling can't blow up on it unless you're too slow to react. Widowmine Bio Banshee here. He's got to burrow those mines and stim those Marines. Byun a little too slow to react. Oh, a crazy big Blink Bane attack. If those Widow Mines were burrowed, this would not have worked. But guess what? Smashes into both sides. Massling on the other side. Banelings on that side. The Lings get 15 workers, and Dark just YOLOs into Byun's face off of this disgustingly greedy opening. He gets himself a massive bit of momentum there. And behind it, Hive's on the way. 2-2's on the way. That is just a huge, surprising attack. Caught Byun off guard. Now Byun finds himself massively behind. He's got a 4th command center up. And he's now turning into a planetary. So it was planetary, cancel, make orbital, cancel, make planetary. Byun is looking incredibly indecisive. Every time he plays on Dark's map pick, it's almost like he's like, oh man, I just can't beat him on his map. It does feel like he's just a little bit more tentative. He's so passive. Whereas on his maps, he's so decisive and isn't in his opponent's face. When I've seen him play versus Solar on this map recently, he wins every single time. He just commits to these really aggressive 2-base pushes, takes the 3rd and the 4th behind it, macros up. He's really fluid in his play, but against Dark, I feel like he's a bit more intimidated. And Dark does that to people. His nature of just constantly flowing in with these crazy big Ling Bane attacks does get people to play overly defensive. Hive just for adrenal glands, the classic, I'm going to get a Hive just to get that 40% attack speed upgrade on my Zerglings. Why not? It's a very good upgrade. Banelings and Zerglings trying to run 4th. Not many Overseers though. There's only 1 on the entire map, so Dark's going to pull up and try to defend this army. Byun's still trying to bait him into bad Widowmine hits. Pretty decent spreadies. 2nd Widowmine does not even fire. Widowmine in the bottom catches a drone trying to re-expand to that base. Dark, as good as he is at doing run-bys and doing damage, I've seen him on this map really struggle to get past 5 bases. When he was playing Clem recently, playing against a bunch of different players. Like, I've seen Dark just kind of go, I can't establish an extra base. And really, he just kind of feels like he can't quite get out there. And even though his run-bys are good, the Terran can bounce back. And we see that here. Byun's ahead on supply. Dark's actually down. He's not making any Hive tech. Where's the Lurkers? Where's the Vipers? He's not planning on it. Ultras? Infestors? No. He's just playing Hydraling Bane. Now that's okay, but it means that he needs to smash into this 4th or kill these command centers, maybe deny the 5th base over and over. He's going to go Ultra Lingbane Hydra into Ultra. Wow. I don't know when the last time I saw someone open Hydras and then go Ultras was. A bizarre style coming out of Dark here. Hydras will clean up the Banshees in the bottom right side. Byun, of course, never made Cloak. It looks like, oh no. He's going to need to send another Hydra down there. Big push in the middle. Massive Biomine army. There's not many mines. Let's select those. It looks like there's 5 Widow Mines. Most are spread on the backside, though. The army's moving a bit far away from the mines. That could be a big problem. Massive stimming together in a giant ball. Byun forcing the issue here. He's got a lot of bank behind it, but he needs to take some decent Widow Mine hits. Not a single Widow Mine lands! The Widow Mines all get dragged away, and that is what happens if your army is not there to hold their ground with the Widow Mines. He does do a very nice double drop in the north, but that is why there is a lot of criticism. If you don't pre-spread and you keep your bio in a ball, your units really struggle to gun down the front-running Zerglings because they're all stutter-stepping away, and the Zerglings can easily just split off, lure the Widow Mines into single Zerglings, and that's exactly what Dark did. Now, I really want to see if this is going to late game, and Byun is indeed going to late game. He's building mass orbital command centers in his main base. He's going to try and float out to a 5th. I want to see him not only add Widow Mines, but also Hellbats and those vehicle weapon upgrades need to get started. Maru has shown us the secret to late game is +3 vehicle weapon Hellbats. We've seen Byun do it versus Dark and other players in the past. But I do worry, and that is because Dark is famous for 20 range Broodlords. If it gets to super late game, he will make Broodlord Infestor, and he will attack his own creep tumors to siege you from 2 screens away. It's a very, very light amount of damage, but it is constant, it is free, and he's so good at patiently defending with spellcasters. Byun, on the other hand, is famous for getting impatient and headbutting in the late game. Ooh, the Widow Mine across the gap actually got a good hit there. That Widow Mine got 6 kills, not too bad. At least he's slowing down the creep a little bit in the middle. That hasn't been properly respread there. Some of it's starting to come out now. Lings in the bottom are going to come in. Command Center is a bit exposed and has to cancel that and rebuild it a little bit closer. But killing the SCV actually stops that from building entirely. Ghosts are coming out. But against Massling Bane, Ghosts are not what you need. You actually need plenty of Widow Mines and potentially Hellbats as well. We're still seeing armor upgrades for the Widow Mines rather than Hellbats being the focus. That can work, but you need to have your bio pre-spread to deal with it. So the reason why, right, and I'll explain this quickly for the casuals and the people who don't really play ZvT, if the Widow Mines are just there and the Zerglings run past, it's very easy for the Zerg to just pull the front Zergling that the Widow Mine tracks on, move it to the side, Widow Mine fires, and it's a dud. But if there's a lot of bio spread across the front, that front Zergling dies almost instantly, and the Widow Mine tracks onto the next Zergling. That one dies, and the Widow Mine tracks onto the next one, which usually happens to be in a clump of Banelings. So having your army kind of spread around the Widow Mines makes it very difficult to figure out where the Widow Mines are tracking, where to spread your Zerglings, which Zerglings to spread. And so it is, of course, a big issue. The bio, moving forward to clear a little bit of that creep. We've got so many command centers. The Iron Bank is officially complete, guys. 8 orbital command centers up. And he's got 3 more command centers building. For those who are wondering, the Iron Bank is called that because it gives you unlimited money, just like having a no-limits loan from the Iron Bank of Bravos. That being said, Mass Baneling's got something to say, and that is, can you rebuild your army fast enough? 4,000 Banelings coming in. The planetary goes down. A beautiful arc of bio on the top side. The command center on the planetary goes down. 17 SCVs go down. There's more Banelings. There's another wave. Dark says that's not all, idiot. Blows up that command center that's building. But there's so many factories. There's more command centers that can instantly land. And the units lost tab tells us a tale of Terran dominance in a fight like that. I actually think Dark was trading quite well up to this point. But now Dark is behind almost 3,000 resources in units lost. We're going to keep checking in on that. The longer the game goes, Terran will always win with trades like that. That Widow Mine behind the rocks now has 30 kills, by the way. It's fired at least 3 times. Snipe on the Viper, very nice. But you've got to keep your bio spread. Where's the Widow Mines? He doesn't have any new Widow Mines over here. The next wave of Lingbane is coming in. Byun has not remaxed quick enough. He didn't wall off. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Byun has to be very careful right now. He's very fragile. He barely hangs on. He's got to get this planetary up. And most importantly, he should start walling here. This is something no one does, is walling off in the late game. But you can tell Dark's style is, I'm going to just smash Lingbane into you and use the bigger bank and the bigger income that I had earlier in the game than you. If Byun can just stabilize, he spent thousands, tens of thousands of resources on command centers, which will give him more mining in the long run. But right now, they haven't paid off. He needs to stabilize and defend. More SCVs do go down. A great denial on this 5th base. Dark is moving around the map splendidly. And you know what? He's already thinking about running down the left side. Unfortunately for him, that's a planetary, a Widow Mine spready, and a siege tank. There's also a tank, and that Widow Mine fires another 15 kills! That Widow Mine has 45 kills. It finally goes down, but my god, was it effective. The Lingbane there, some snipes on the Overseers and Hydras as well. Byun needs to keep his units spread out. He's got to try and get rid of this creep and re-wall this side, but he's not doing it right now. Planetary on the left is going to get boomed. Dark goes in. He wants to get the command centers. He wants to hit both with the same Banelings. The planetary does go down. These are not cheap trades. He's now down 7,000 resources in units lost. The problem is can Byun rebuild the wall, rebuild the static in the meantime? A command center takes 70 seconds to build. A planetary another 45 seconds or so to erect. I don't know the exact timing on the planetary, but something about that. Notice he doesn't have time to get a new one up. Where are the Widow Mines? Where are the Hellbats? That's what you need to stop Lingbane. It is just Lingbane after Lingbane, but he's building tanks and ghosts, which are not the ideal unit. A few Hellbats are coming out. He's building them 5 at a time, but has he waited too long to get into that Hellbat? So the choke point is pretty brutal on that Lingbane. 15 SCVs do go down, but with mass orbital, I don't think Byun cares. Byun does not care about the orbital. What he cares about is the mining time. He's got to repair these command centers on the right side because that's going to be Dark's next target. Dark is going to attack the left, attack the right, attack the left, attack the right. And you know what? As Byun, you've got to keep repairing your buildings. You've got to keep resetting your static and trying to hold on. Dark is just going to try and tsunami him. He's not doing anything fancy. He's just mining out the corner bases. He's trying to mine this base out. He definitely should move his drones forward from these safe bases up to these corners to fully mine them out. I've been ranting about this for years, and not a single top Zerg player has gotten adept at doing this yet. If you know the Terran's just trying to survive, mine those bases out by fully saturating them. Dark not doing it, missing an opportunity to steal minerals from Byun in the late game. Hellbats are doing very nicely, but Blue Flame's not ready. They also don't have the attack upgrades yet. That planetary is toasted. Extra crispy. An orbital's going to try to land there. The trades are still looking horrendous in terms of units lost, but that's rather standard for the matchup. 34,000 lost for the Zerg, 24,500 for the Terran, almost a 10,000 resource gap. But remember, there's no extra bank for Byun. This is very good that Byun's denying this base, but that's what I'm talking about. You want to have those bases fully saturated because every mineral you take from there Every drone trip is 5 minerals. That's 5 minerals you take away from the Terran. It's effectively damage you're dealing simply by putting your workers in a different location. Unfortunately, these bases are impossible to take. That one there. This one's all right. Dark is transferring workers forward a little, but he's a bit hesitant to move them up as far as he could. Lings try the left side, but guys, +1 vehicle weapons is on the way. Blue Flame's on the way. Wouldn't mind a few more Widow Mines being mixed in, as that does complicate things for Dark. Whenever there's Widow Mines peppered around, it does have the potential to get massive efficiency. 100 drones and 100 Zerglings, and he's going into Infestors, Neural, Pathogen Glands, and Double Spire. Dark has basically said, okay, I tried as hard as I could, I traded inefficiently, I'm done with that, it's time to go Broodlord Infestor. If Byun could maybe do some sort of counterattack before he gets there is a chance to at least deny some bases, maybe do some drop harass, but you don't really have the information as Byun. You've seen a massive Lings, you have no idea he's going Broodlord, so you're probably just going to focus on slowly securing all the bases in this corner of the map. Dark still is not mining from this base, and that's an absolute travesty, guys. If this map comes down to just a few minerals and gas between the two, this is what I'm talking about, where coaches need to start whipping their players. Fans need to start shouting in their ear. If your opponent's doing nothing but turtling, any game versus Maru, any late game versus Terran, you got to mine those bases out. I'll stop talking about it now, as apparently it falls on deaf ears. Lings are going to run down the right side. Hellbat Ghost Marauder is just going to pick up. Man, the Hellbat volleys are big. He doesn't have +3, so they're not one-shotting yet, though. I like this thrust down the left side. Clearing up the creep is going to be very effective. Command Center is way out in the open, and that's a double Command Center kill. Very effective there for Dark, and a big mistake for Byun. Building Command Centers out in the open like that is just asking to get nipped in the bud. Oh, he strikes back in the right side. Dark doing a little bit of that F2 magic. Oh, no. Gives up a hatchery on the left and the right. And remember, the 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes that he had this established, didn't mine any resources out of it. And from now on, it's going to get harder and harder to get any resources out of it. So this is why it's so important to transfer those drones the moment you establish those bases. Now, I think Dark's good enough in late game, it might not matter. He's good enough with the Broodlord Infestor. I've seen Byun play excellent Hellbat Ghost stuff. I've also seen Byun shit the bed massively. It was an EPT Weekly Cup Finals between these two. Byun ended up winning, but I think it was the second or third game he was on this map. Oh, killing his Medivacs once again to get more supply for Thors, this time to prepare for those Broodlords. There was a fight in the middle of the map where Byun shoved his entire army through this choke point into Fungal, Blinding Cloud Broodlords, and he'd been winning the whole game up to then, and he just basically lost patience and just headbutted into the army and got wiped in one of the most one-sided late-game fights I've ever watched. Ooh, EMP and a hot pickup. Nicely done. Doesn't EMP all of the Infestors, but the tank there giving a bit of efficiency from behind, clearing the creep as well. There are 8 Broodlords out. 10 siege tanks, of course, very vulnerable to that, but hard to push in because there's 16 ghosts and the first 3 Thors are coming out. +2 vehicle weapons, +3 vehicle platings coming out. Enhanced shockwaves for the ghosts. Oh, he snipes all the queens down. That'll do. That will do indeed. Oh man, the farmer from Babe there patting Byun on the head and saying, very well done. Starting to get so much damage. 15,000 resources lost gap. Nice Fungal. Does catch a few of the ghosts in the bottom side. But uh-oh, no Overseer. He doesn't have an Overseer. That's his last Infestor with energy. Oh my lord, Dark. Dark has been very lazy with his Overseers lately, but he lands a Fungal, gets a few of the ghosts, and that does work out okay. But man, you got to keep Overseers always with those Broodlords. Even if they're not in a control group, just following them is key. But all of his Overseers are with his main army. He's just relying on Spores and Infestors on the right side. That's very dangerous. This base, once again, like we said, it's very hard to mine from here for the rest of this game because this is a stone's throw from this base. Byun's kind of cemented his position in the bottom, but Dark's doing a good job of threatening. Top left base will go down for Dark, but Byun is going to punish the bottom right. Oh, sorry, Dark's going to punish the bottom right. Byun does land a snipe, but that commands... Oh, man, all these command centers in the far bottom right go down. Dark gets about 10 SCVs and some cancels. Byun should not rebuild any SCVs in this game. Remember, he has 9 orbitals. That is the Iron Bank. He has unlimited mules, unlimited scans. He can lower his worker supply and get a much bigger army than Dark. And because Dark hasn't had a chance to build up a bank and he's thrown so much money away on Lings and Banes and Hydras, he actually needs to keep a big worker count and build up a big bank before he builds a giant army. So you can already see a 16 army supply advantage for Byun. And that is the advantage of those beautiful, beautiful orbital command centers. Ghosts come forward. They get some snipes off. Looks like one of the infestors goes down to the Liberator. A few snipes do land. Looks like a couple ghosts did go down. A lot of the Broodlord's very wounded, but he lost all of his queens, so there's no transfuse. No transfuse is huge. Normally, Dark has a pack of queens transfusing these queens, but he lost all of them. He's building 6 queens right now, realizing that is one of the few ways you can basically transfer minerals into gas. If you build queens and you keep healing all your gas units and prolong their life, keep recycling them, then you're basically using a mineral-only unit to get more gas value. And gas is almost always the limiting factor in the end game. At least for the Zerg player, not always for the Terran. Thors beat the crap out of Broodlords, for those who don't know. Normally the play here for Dark is to go to about 30 Broodlords, but he's making just Lings and Banes. He's adding more upgrades. I think he feels he doesn't have the money to up that Broodlord count just yet, and that's a problem for him. Now we're going to see a 2 Thor, 2 Hellbat drop to the top left side. A very creative harassment there for Byun. Income-wise, of course, Byun's not that high. Whenever he decides to drop mules in a big way, he can replenish very quickly. Dark can mine this base out, that'd be great, but it looks like Byun's just going to keep denying it. Meanwhile, that base is established, as is that one. He's building more command centers, which I think is something you've got to be careful on. I think 2 or 3 more at most, just to take these extra bases, but you don't want to overcommit to it, because these minerals, we're getting to the point where the map is almost certainly going to get mined out in this game. Here we go, Dark's coming forward. Good hot pickup. I'm surprised he doesn't sneak a Burrowed Infestor in and just, like, neural the Medivacs or the Thors there while they're outside of the Medivacs. Baneling's jumping on the Ghosts. Oh, a little bit slow on the spready, but no Overseers there. Oh, the Overseer came in a bit too late. This is a really scary position for Dark because he doesn't really have the army to deal with that. He's out of money right now. He's getting he's going to start sieging Byun's production on the left side, but he's losing the last bits of his economy. These infestors are going to neural the Thor and deal with that. But before, he's losing a lot of economy. He's only really got 1 mining base left, does Dark. And he's going to save a few Hellbats there inside some of these Medivacs. There we go. Nice neural parasite to clean that up. But I think Byun wins out in those trades, especially if he cleans this creep up in the middle. He can start to push Dark's vision back. He's going to try and take that top right side as well. There are still a lot of siege units just spread over the bottom right side of the map. And that's something which it's kind of hard to move your army. When you're in this very static setup as Terran, you can move around a chunk of your units, but not your entire force. Here we go. Oh, Baneling's rolling into Thors. That is not pretty. Oh, that is not pretty at all. My lord. Oh, jeebs. That is, oh man, that's like watching someone eat an entire pound of butter. You're just like, that is not good for you, Banelings. Don't do that, man. That was a very nasty trade. 22,500 resources in favor of Byun now. Dark's down in supply. He's down 20 army supply. Denying this base is a good start. Tanks and libs will slowly move over there. Definitely clearing that creep up's a good idea. 3 ghosts get caught, but no. Hot pickup. Medevac's quick on that one. Thor shoots down the Overseer. Dark's dead in the water. He's only got 7 Broodlords. He has my Spellcaster. His only play here is stealing all the Thors. If he can neural all the Thors or the tanks, that'd be great. I'd like to see him send a few Burrowed Infestors across the map. Earlier on in this tournament, after defeating Clem, Dark said, "I think I'm the best Spellcaster player in the world." That was his statement. He didn't say this in an interview. He just said it to Crank. Crank was like, "Hey, good play, man." He was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm the best. I'm actually like the best. I'm the best Spellcaster user in the world, you know?" And Crank, we were like, "How humble of you, Dark," but also accurate. If anyone could make a comeback from here, it's probably Dark with these 19 Infestors. It just feel like a few EMPs ruins his entire day, so it's a very fragile situation. Neuraling a ghost would be great, but look at that. He sees everything. This is what I'm talking about. The Iron Bank gives you unlimited vision. You could just see everything that's going on. Uh-oh. Fungal does come forward. EMP's starting to zone out. A few Fungals going. Oh, man, look at that. The Broodlords are just getting sapped out of the sky. There's not enough Broods. There's just not enough Broodlords. He can't hold up to this army. Byun can just shove right through. He's only got 5 Hellbats, which is a mistake. Byun does need more Hellbats. You usually want to have about 8 plus 3 Hellbats in there. He does have plus 3 weapons and Blue Flame, which means, of course, those Hellbats do, I think it's 39 damage a shot. So the Zerglings, even with plus 3 Carapace, still get 1 shot. The Broodlings get 1 shot. Trying to make more Broodlords and up that count is Dark, but, dude, his mining's in trouble. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. Sergeant Chadhammer inside the main base, able to reach that one. I don't want to say I told you so about the mining, but guys, imagine if he mined just an extra 1,000 resources in the bottom right and mined a bit more of this base out earlier. He could pull back to mining on these bases now in the late game. And that's what I'm talking about with these late game scenarios, and why the moment you realize, okay, it's 6 base versus, you know, a Terran who's trying to secure a 5 and I'm just throwing in Bane at him, you're basically investing in inefficiency, and the way to make that worth it is to immediately saturate the forward bases. It's actually one of the moves which, since this situation is so common in modern StarCraft 2, especially on these big maps that we often play on, it's impressive that the top Zergs haven't done it yet. Oh, Neural EMP all over the Ghost. 1 EMP lands on the Infestors. Oh, another one does go down. There's still more Ghosts with energy. There's still more Ghosts with energy. Oh no, big EMPs. He throws some Fungals, but the Infestors are absolutely drained. Oh man, he Neurals like 8 of the Ghosts. They're all shooting each other, but he's lost all of the other energy. Meanwhile, there's still Ghost Hellbat in the main. A beautiful attack here by Byun. And the efficiency, he just took Dark past 69,000 resources lost. And the moment Dark crossed over 69,420, he realized that his tournament life might just be over here. Byun able to win one of Dark's later map picks here. If he can close this out, he's got it in the bag. The Infestors are walking mannequins right now. They are just useless. They are wacky waving inflatable slug things, and they are unable to hold on. Byun able to crush through. Dark just could not get the Broodlord count up to show us that 30 Broodlord style that he's known for. And Byun is able to secure a win at PiGFest 2.0 with a 4-2 victory. What an absolute legend. GG, well played.